Hello students, in this video we are going to see the numericals from chapter 10 gravitation. Let us see first the example 10.1. So I'll read the question. As usual, you know that you have to listen to the question properly and write what is given when I read it second time. The mass of the earth is 6 into 10 raised to 24 kg and that of the moon is 7.4 into 10 raised to 22 kg. If the distance between the earth and the moon is 3.84 into 10 raised to 5 kilometers, calculate the force exerted by the earth on the moon. Capital G is equal to 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. Now students, in this numerical, mass of the earth is given. So mass of the earth is this. So we can write under given mass of the earth we can represent by capital ME. It is given as 6 into 10 raised to 24 kg. And that of the moon is, so mass of the moon we can represent it by capital M small m is 7.4 into 10 raised to 22 kg. If the distance between the earth and the moon, distance between the earth and the moon means distance between their centers. So we can represent it by R is given as 3.84 into 10 raised to 5 kilometers. Calculate the force exerted by the earth. G is equal to, capital G is given as 6.7 into 10 raised to minus 11 Newton meter square per kg square. You have to calculate the force exerted by the earth on the moon. So we can represent it by F. This is question mark. We have to find it. So after reading the question, after writing what is given, what we have to find out, just have a look at the things which are given and see if any conversion is required. kg, fine, SI unit. This is in SI unit. This is in kilometer. We know we are supposed to convert this into meters before we start with the numericals. So multiply it by 1000 or 10 raised to 3, then it gets converted into meters as I have shown here. Now to find F, we know that between moon and earth, which force we are talking about? This is a gravitational force exerted by earth on moon or vice versa. Okay, so this is a force that exists between earth and moon. So we know we have to use, you can write it here according to Newton's universal law of gravitation. You can mention it here. F is equal to capital G mm into me upon r square. See students, you can also represent it by m1, m2. These masses by m1, m2 also. There is no problem in doing it. Now just put the values, okay, and do the simplification as I have shown here. Remember, students generally do the mistake here, r square. So this has to be squares. When students do the calculation, they generally forget to square in the denominator. Okay, so you need to square it, and when you square, so 10 raised to 8 becomes 10 raised to 60. So just do simple mathematics here. Just do the calculations and you get the answer to be 2.02 into 10 raised to 20 newtons. This is a very simple numerical. Hope you don't have any problem in this. So let us do example 10.2. A car falls off a ledge and drops to the ground in 0.5 seconds. Let small g is equal to 10 meter per second square for simplifying the calculations. What is its speed on striking the ground? What is its average speed during the 0.5 second? And how high is the ledge from the ground? So I'll read the question again. A car falls off a ledge. Ledge means an extension at certain height, maybe on the mountain or cliff, hill. Okay, so a car falls off a ledge and drops to the ground in 0.5 seconds. So given t is equal to 0.5 seconds. Let small g is equal to 10 meter per second square. We know small g is acceleration due to gravity, and when not given we take it as 9.8 meter per second square. But here they have given, take it as 10 meter per second square for simplifying the calculations. You have to find three things. What is its speed on striking the ground? 1. speed on striking the ground. So just I have drawn a rough diagram here. Let O be the point from where this car drops, and then it is the case of freely falling motion, freely falling body. So let us say it goes vertically downward like this, and A is a point on the ground where it strikes the ground. So when it drops from here, you know that U should be equal to 0 meter per second. We have done such numericals in the first chapter, motion. Okay. So right here, this is not given directly, but you have to write as car drops from here. So U is initial speed or initial velocity is 0 meter per second. You have to find the speed on striking the ground. Speed on striking the ground means if you consider the motion from O to A here what is the speed? It means final speed you have to find out, which we represent by v, small v. What is its average speed during the 0.5 second? So you have to find average speed. I have represented it by Vf. This you have to find out. Average speed means actually the speed is changing here because it is a case of positive, uniform positive acceleration. But average speed means the corresponding uniform speed with which the motion time would have been same. Time taken by the car to reach here would have been the same. With that speed we are going to find average speed. Third is how high is the ledge from the ground. So height, this height we are supposed to find. Now, first of all, you should write what is given. We have written what is given. U indirectly given, we have mentioned it. No problem of conversion here. Everything is in proper system. Everything is having proper SI unit only. You have to find V. So, as it is a case of freely falling body, we know it is a case of uniformly accelerated motion. So, we can use any of the three equations of motion. Here, we can easily see that by using first equation of motion, that is V is U plus GT, I have used the equation written for freely falling body. So using this equation, we can easily find V. V is equal to U plus GT. U is 0, G is 10. As when the body falls down, we know that it is a case of positive acceleration. So G is positive. Okay. So G is positive, 10 into 0.5. When you do the simplification, you get the answer of this final speed to be 5 meter per second. Okay. Now, second part is you have to find the average speed. Now, average speed, you know actually average speed basic formula is total distance upon total time. So, when we use that formula, total distance will be here the height. Okay. H upon T will give us average speed, but as till now we have not found the H, so we'll use the other formula which is valid only and only for uniformly accelerated motion, because then it becomes easier. We know that V average for uniformly accelerated motion, so here for freely falling body we can consider, is also can also be calculated as U plus V by 2. So, is equal to U is 0 plus we have found here in the first part 5 divided by 2. We get the average speed to be 2.5 meter per second. Okay. Now, the third part is to find how high is the ledge from the ground. So, we are supposed to find this height. For H, we can either use the second equation of motion or the third equation of motion. So, using the second equation of motion here, H is ut plus half gt square. So just put the value and take care, you are supposed to take the square of t. And by doing the simplification, we see that the H is found to be 1.25 meters. Here you need to take care that t is square. So you need to multiply t twice. Just do remember. This is a common mistake done by the students again. So H is 1.25 meter by using second equation of motion. Or there I have written or, even you can use the third equation of motion. V square is U square plus 2GH. Again put the values for V, U and G. By doing the simplification, we can get H is 1.25 meter. So any of the equations can be used to find out H. And even for second part, if you want to find average speed by using the formula of total distance upon total time, now you can also find average speed by that formula. You can just check it, cross check it. H is 1.25, divide it by time 0.5, the answer will be same, 2.5 meter per second. I hope the numerical is clear to you. So now let us do example 10.3. An object is thrown vertically upwards and rises to a height of 10 meters. Calculate 1. The velocity with which the object was thrown upwards, and 2. The time taken by the object to reach the highest point. An object is thrown vertically upwards. So I have drawn the rough diagram here. Let O be the point from where the object has been thrown vertically upwards and rises to a height of 10 meters. So this is a maximum height reached by the object. I have represented this by OA. So OA is a height attained, that is H is equal to 10 meter. So A is a peak point, peak position. Calculate the velocity with which the object was thrown upwards. Now from here, what if I consider the motion from O to A, the velocity with which the object was thrown upward means U we have to find out. So height H is given as 10 meter, U we have to find out, and second part is time taken by the object to reach the highest point. So time taken is small t. So H is given directly, ut we have to find out. We know that when we consider the motion from O to A for a body thrown in the vertically upward direction, we have to take small g as minus 9.8 meter per second square. If you don't put this negative sign, the entire sum will go wrong. Because when the body is thrown vertically upward, it is a case of uniformly accelerated motion but with negative acceleration. It is uniform retardation. So g should be taken as negative. Now at this position A, see when the body moves upwards, its velocity or speed decreases and it becomes 0 at the peak position. So at A, at the peak position, V is 0 meter per second. So only H is given directly. These two things we have written on our own from the knowledge that we have regarding this type of motions. We are supposed to find now U and T. To find U, we cannot use the first equation of motion. We have the three equations of motion. First equation of motion cannot be used because V is U plus GT. In that equation, both U and T are unknown. So we cannot use that. So we'll use the third equation of motion. V square is U square plus 2GH. V is 0, U square plus 2. G, remember, negative 9.8 into H is 10. So just by simplifying this, we get U square is 196 and U will be square root of this, which is 14 meter per second. Again, take care here. Students, sometimes what they do, U square is 196 and U is also 196 meter per second. In hurry, they do this. You are supposed to find the square root and then get the final answer. So here the first initial speed we have found. Now second part is to find the time taken by the body to reach this height, small t. Now for small t, you can use, to find time, you can use either the first equation of motion, V is U plus GT, or the second equation of motion, H is ut plus half GT square. Because now you have U, so you can use any of the two equations to find t. But second equation I will not prefer here, because second equation usually we prefer when U is 0. Because then the calculations become simpler. But in this case U is not 0. So this when we start with the second equation of motion, the calculation simplification will become a bit difficult. So better we use this first equation of motion. Whenever U is not 0, we will prefer this. So just put the value of V, U we have found just now. Take care, G is negative, and when you do the simplification, you get T is equal to 1.428 seconds. And rounding off to 2 decimal places, we can write this time taken as 1.43 seconds. So hope the numerical is clear to you. This is similar to the previous numerical. Only the thing is body is thrown in the vertically upward direction. So G should be taken as negative. And when the body is dropped, U is 0 meter per second. When the body is thrown in the vertically upward direction, V is 0 meter per second. Now example 10.4. Very simple numerical. Mass of an object is 10 kg. What is its weight on the earth? So mass of an object is 10 kg. We'll write in given. Under given we'll write m. Small m is 10 kg. You have to find weight on the earth. So W you have to find out. We know formula for W is mg. Weight is mg. So we can mention here in the given g is 9.8 meter per second square. Whenever g value is not given, we always take it as 9.8 meter per second square. So just put the value mg and you get the answer. Weight is 98 Newton. Remember, what is weight of the body? It is the force with which earth attracts a body towards itself or its center. Now, the next question is, an object weighs 10 Newton when measured on the surface of earth. What would be its weight when measured on the surface of the moon? Now here, an object weighs 10 Newton when measured on the surface of the earth. So given WE is 10 Newton. Why I have put E here? Because in this case we were supposed to find weight, and that was on earth only. Understood, it is on earth. That is a force of gravity due to earth only. But in this case, weight of a body on earth and weight of the body on moon are mentioned. So we can we can distinguish them by just putting this, differentiate them by writing here E and M. So WE represents weight of a body on earth. Let WM represents weight of a body on moon. It's given that an object weighs 10 Newton on the surface of earth. It means WE, weight on earth, is 10 Newton. What would be its weight when measured on the surface of the moon? Wm we are supposed to find out. We know that this was the last topic that we have done. Weight of comparison between the weight of a body on moon and that on the earth. We know weight of a body on moon is 1/6 times weight of a body on earth. And when we do the simplification, we get the answer for weight of a body on moon as 1.666, rounding it off to 2 decimal places, we get the answer to be 1.67 Newton. So in this chapter, I hope so you have found the numericals very easy, because by now you are used to do the numericals. You can do numericals on your own once you know the formula. So with this, the gravitation part, gravitation chapter, half chapter actually, is over with numericals. Okay, so we'll continue with the back exercise in our next video. Thrust and pressure videos will be put later on, which are actually included in this chapter, but this year it is deleted. Okay, so see you in the next video. Thank you, students.